So finally working. Great. Awesome.
Okay. First off, can you explain your relationship with Joy Sparkles? I don't watch either of you guys' videos on me as I don't know.
I don't have a relationship with her. Actually, I only found out about her because of the video that you made mentioning the three of us. That was the first that I had heard of her channel. So, yeah.
Okay. Also, just want to establish something people do online is they take like a small difference between people and they blow that up so it seems like people are polar opposite. And I just want to learn something about you real quick. Your stance on abortion.
I am pro-choice.
Okay, me too. Your political stance. What political party are you in?
I'm very liberal.
Okay, so you voted for Clinton?
I did.
Okay, me too. How about religion?
We're both atheists, and I mean, I've said this in a lot of different videos that we both have a lot in common on those things.
We are not both atheists.
Okay, well then you're super religious. Well, every time I've seen a video on you, then you've been very not religious, so we pretty much agree. You've made a lot of videos on atheism.
I can literally hear myself again in the background. How is that possible?
You must have another tab open because I've got headphones in.
Nah, it's in my headphones. And it's not because of a tab or anything. But no, in my videos about religion, I'm saying things to the dramatic, and it makes me seem like I'm an atheist, but really, there could very well be a God because there's no evidence either way. So to say with certainty that there is or is not a God, I mean, that doesn't seem rational. It doesn't seem even scientific.
I've said, no, that's different. Like that's you're talking about being an agnostic. I've said that I'm an agnostic atheist. They're two totally different things because agnostic refers to knowledge, because the word Gnostic, the root of that word is Gnostic, which means knowledge. So to be agnostic is to not have knowledge, but it doesn't have anything to do with belief. So if you say you're an atheist, you're someone who has no knowledge and therefore no belief. So they're different, but I can see how someone would just say that they're agnostic, but I say that I am both of those things, because it's intellectually dishonest to say that you know for certain that there isn't. So yeah, we agree again. I mean, I've always said that we don't disagree on everything, which is why I found it really unfortunate that we have found ourselves in a situation where it can't be a combined force for, a mutually beneficial purpose, which could be.
Well, I mean, how many hate videos have I made about you?
A few. Or like little jabs here and there about like relationship stuff and other videos, and like also,
don't be vague. Don't be vague. Be specific.
You've made speculations about my relationship with Dave in previous videos that people tweeted at me, and that's the only reason why I saw it. You've talked about me and Richie. You talked about
that's vague. That's vague again. That's vague. That's vague again.
I don't have your videos mapped out. I'm just saying that this is a thing that's been happening, and we never had an issue. We never had any kind of issue. Like actually, like we would retweet each other. We were on good terms, and there was never any problem until I met Richie, and it wasn't even that we became like close friends right away or anything, because I tweeted one photo with him. I tweeted one photo, and that's all it took for you to completely you tweeted private text conversations that we had, which really pissed me off, and totally turned on me.
Oh
you tweeted private text.
Why do you have?
Sorry, go ahead.
I think we should start taking turns talking, because I keep interrupting.
Why do I have a fear of you tweeting my texts? I feel like that's what you're going to say. Why do I care that you would do that? Because if I had something to hide, because it's personal, and if I had something to hide, like let's say you're like, hey, Jaclyn, I would like to tweet this. And then I'm like, no, I don't want you to. That's different, but you can't assume things and take conversations that you have in private with people and post them on the internet without getting permission. I mean, you can, obviously you have, because you've done it multiple times, but it's not right. If you want to have a public conversation, then this is the perfect forum for it, where you can have an audience. It's live.
That's weird to me, though.
It's weird that people have a problem with you texting private conversation.
Like for instance, when somebody says the N-word privately, and then they get that leaked, like they're all mad about it. But like, what if we lived in a society where everyone knew the private conversations that people had with, like,
so you don't believe in privacy at all?
Well, we're talking about. I'm talking about public figures.
Public figures
Like,
can't have private conversations? Like, you know, that at some point can become illegal.
I like what you're saying because you are establishing a really good point. But my position is people know who I am. And they know that from the very beginning. I've always, you know, like, people have leaked private conversations that I've had, and I've leaked private conversations that other people have had. And I've never been like, why did you... Actually, I probably have at one point. I probably said something like, oh, that's, you shared private stuff. But over time, you know, I just got numb to it, no doubt. Like, I may or may not have been upset at a leak or something. But, like, I've gotten to the point where I just kind of, like, embrace it. Because so long as you're not saying anything that makes you look bad, then, you know, I don't understand the fear.
The messages that you tweeted that I had sent to you, it wasn't the content that you tweeted. It was the fact that I wasn't asked, and it was a violation of privacy that was my issue. I didn't say anything to you because I'm not stupid. I would even if I you know, trusted you completely, I wouldn't tweet things that were private. Is it frozen for just me? Is Greg frozen or am I frozen? Because he's not moving and I can't tell if it's just me or him. I can see him and I can see the comments, but I cannot tell if I am the one frozen or if am I like, Greg is frozen. Okay. So maybe the connection wasn't on my end, the issues. That's unfortunate. I really wish that this could be like done almost in person and streamed from one device, because whenever you're using two different internet connections and it's something that has this much volume and traffic, it can crash. So I don't know. Should I go? I mean, so far so good.
I will text her again, asking her to come back. Yes. Join again, please. Jaclyn, Glenn, join again, please. Would you join my live stream? And then we can talk to Joy Sparkles and hopefully get this BS out of the way. While we wait for Jaclyn to join again, I'm going to tweet that everything's going to be alright. Everything's going to be okay. I'm such a good singer. Why the fuck did you tweet that? That don't make no goddamn sense. Okay, so I'm getting applause. Is it because I'm such an amazing singer? Everybody give me an applause if I'm an amazing singer. And if I'm not an amazing singer, I never want to see you in for the rest of our time on Earth. It's the Donald Trump way. If you don't like me, it's fake news. That wasn't a retarded, overused joke. Let's do this. Where is Jaclyn? Jaclyn, like, went on a walk. Here's Rag Reynolds. Always nice to see Rag Reynolds is something I would say 1 out of 30 days of the month. Technically, I didn't do anything mean, but if you think about tone, that was mean. Alright, so... Oh, there's Jaclyn! Oh my god, make a guest! Let's do this! Hi.
Is it working?
I'm gonna blame it on you and say that's 100% your fault and I'm awesome.
Sure. That can be a clip taken out of context for future use.
Context is a fishy thing. Sometimes the context is like not fair, but a lot of times people are like, that was taken out of context, and then you expand it and it doesn't make it look better. I'm talking about political stuff and whatnot. Anyway.
Right.
We were talking about something.
We were talking about how privacy doesn't matter.
That is a misrepresentation of what our actual conversation was.
Well, I feel like what you were saying is because you don't have a problem with it, you feel that everyone else should also not have a problem with that.
What we were exactly discussing was texts and how I don't think that as a public figure that my texts are something that I should be afraid of being exposed to the public. Nowhere did I say privacy doesn't matter. Obviously, when I take a bathroom break, you know, I want my privacy.
I feel like, you know, public things that you do, YouTube videos, tweets, photos that are posted, things of that nature that are made public intentionally are totally up for scrutiny from whoever wants to do so. But text messages to a person that haven't been, like, okayed for posting publicly, I feel like that is a violation of privacy. Maybe you don't feel that way, but I, you know, understand that not everyone agrees.
Well, I authentically apologize to you for the whole being upset over you associating with social repose. Like, I did apologize. You know that. And that was the whole reason I texted you
so that's
long ago.
Specifically. Right, I know. And you know,
and the reason I got upset in the first place was just because I was so overwhelmed with the information that I learned about social repose, and I was disgusted, and I didn't want anyone
gossip.
I associated with to associate. Well, not gossip.
I know.
It wasn't gossip.
It was much
more serious.
It's not my battle to fight, so I don't really want it to get into that.
Yeah, I'm trying. Obviously, I'm trying not to get into it, but I'm just saying, like, it. You know, that's. I was upset at the time, and then I was like, you know, you can't. I feel it's unfair to just say, oh my God, you like got close to someone I don't like, so you're done. Like, that's not fair. So.
Yeah, it was hurtful. I mean, I'm not trying to say that we were like super close or best friends, but I did have a really fun time whenever we were collabing and making videos, and like it just
You can't say that. You can't say that. I'm a monster. I'm the worst. Remember?
You were very nice in person, which is why I was totally caught off guard by it. I'm like,
you're destroying my image right now. You're making me seem not horrible in person.
I do my best online, but that's
okay, hold on though.
It did hurt my feelings, as stupid as that sounded. But
I'm sorry for hurting your feelings in that context.
But there are so many other things, like, and that's why, like, that apology, like, I don't want to shit on it, right? Because anytime somebody makes any kind of step towards, you know, bettering themselves in any way, like, I don't want to discourage that at all. But for me, it felt a little bit lacking, just because to specifically apologize for that, in my mind, that was like the least of the problems that we've had.
I rate your apology a 4 out of 10.
That's why whenever you texted me, I was like, I said nothing but nice things back. I'm like, okay, well, I wish you the best, which I still stand by. I know that you don't think that, but you know,
you don't though. You don't wish me the best.
Okay. I do wish you the best. I don't like things that you say, and I disagree with you, but I wish you the best. I don't want anything bad to happen to you. Like, I'm not evil.
If I wished you the best, I would never make a video that made it seem like I hated you on any level. And you made a video. I didn't watch your video, but I did see the title, and the title said "Why I Hate Onision." After you said you wish me the best.
I made that video with that title because of your video saying these 3 people hate Onision. So I'm like, this is why you would say that. If you actually watch, and see, this is like kind of this whole debate thing. Like, I'm glad that we're doing it because we can talk it out. But it
I can actually hear what you're saying.
Right. It sounds a little. It feels weird for me because you're going to make arguments based on assumptions from videos that you haven't watched. And if you had actually watched them, then you would understand. Or haven't watched. Maybe you have. I'm glad that I'm making hilarious jokes right now. But I feel like if you had watched my video, you would know.
I like what you're saying because it's true, and that it's so true that it's funny because people think that I watch every single video anyone makes about me, and they say it's because, you know, you're an egomaniac, so you have to watch them. It's like I don't, because this is what happens when I watch a video like something that you would make. I see what you say or anyone, then I lose half of my day. because I lose half of my day making a response video that's about 4 times as long as the original video, and I just can't get into that. So I don't watch the original video because I don't want to feel compelled to debunk people and use evidence and all that stuff, or say whatever I need to say.
I get it. I do that. It's not the F words part, but I do debunk.
That's why you don't see response videos or anything like that consistently. For me, with anyone, like you'll see me respond to one person and then never talk about them again because I just said what I need to say and I move on and I don't watch their response videos and I don't look into it just because I can't dedicate that much time to it.
Right, but to me that kind of feels like you don't really care that much about what you're saying because you don't see it through or care to hear a response. And like if you're going to sit here and debate me and say that I hate you and make assumptions based off a video, then maybe you should have watched it. Otherwise, you don't know what I said.
I didn't say you hated me based on my best knowledge. What I said is that you made a video titled "Why I Hate Onision" or something like that.
Yes. At the end of that video, I did point out what we discussed at the beginning of this, that we have a lot of things in common, and that it's sad that we are where we are, and that I hope that there is some kind of good that can come from it. Although I question it. Whether that's possible, but my hope is there, and like I did end it on a nice positive note. I gave you compliments as you did to me, so yeah.
Oh really? This is what people took out of it. Yo, Jaclyn Clan wrecked you, dude. That's like all people got out of it.
Welcome to the internet.
I know, but like that's what happens when you make a video that says why I hate Onision or whatever. People don't focus on so that's all I hear is the negative. So that's all I go off.
If you have a genuine interest, feel free to watch the video where I say nice things at the end.
You told me the nice things. I need to watch it. It's 15 minutes, yo.
Yes, I know, and I get that you have an issue with that. A lot of people do, but I don't know. I cannot let things go. If someone says something about me that I disagree with or I find to be untrue, like I have to address it. Whether it's the most stupid thing in the world, like you mentioned a thing about high heels, and like I had to mention that was primarily a Nadine thing that I kind of chimed in for a second in her defense. But like even like tiny little things like that, like I have to go over it. Otherwise, it's just like I hear those things in your videos and I'm like nope, and I have to. So that's how they end up being so long.
Did you feel bad for Damien that night? I felt bad for Damien. He's a very sweet person and did not want to get into it. He was Switzerland. That was funny. I felt bad for him because like it just turned like.
Well, that was me. Mexican. That was me for most of it too, and then I felt really bad because I could see that she was like getting upset. So, but yeah, I mean, it isn't like that's a sidetrack, but yeah, my videos end up being very long because I feel the need to address every single point made against me. Otherwise, it feels
like why I don't watch those videos because I would do the same.
But then you ask for a debate over issues that you are essentially not prepared for because you haven't listened to the other side. Like normally, when you ask for a debate with someone, in my experience,
I don't need to be prepared because you're talking about me. I know everything about me. Most everything.
I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about the points that you make that I disagree with. So it's not you as a person. It's ideologies that differ. And how can you debate those if you don't know what the other person thinks?
Here's the great thing is I have the person who made that video right here, and she can
give me those points. In my experience, whenever I've debated people, it's because we understand the differences that we have, and then we want to talk about them. But like for me, I would have to re-explain. That's fine. We're already here. So, what would you like to discuss? Because this is a thing that you kind of requested.
What is your main issue with me? Because you've made a lot of videos about me, like a decent amount, and so what's the main problem?
Well, the last issue that I spoke about that you, besides the last one that I made, which was like, yeah, sure, I'll do a debate. Minus the hashtag. But the last video I made was about Eugenia, but it's not really a thing that I want to talk about because...
Yeah, let's talk about Eugenia.
But the thing is I already did in my video, and my point wasn't anything about her specifically, but rather that her privacy, again, this is coming up, should be respected. And that's it.
What privacy did I address within the last 6
when
months?
you keep hounding a person over and over again, and then you say that you're not going to talk about them anymore, but then you continue to make fun of them or talk about them in a negative way, it's just, for me, it came off as bullying. It came off as bullying, and I didn't. It made me very uncomfortable. And
have you Googled all the people who have been affected by her in a negative way? Like, have you? I mean,
I have visited your Twitter and seen your videos, but I feel like a lot of
no. Beyond that. Like, actually, if you did research on Google and saw all the people that she negatively affected, like, actually caused to starve themselves, like, it's pretty traumatic.
Wait, hold on a second. Wait.
It's not like 1, 2, 3 people. We're talking hundreds of people. And if you look at the likes to dislikes ratio on those videos that I've made, it's overwhelming how many people are like, this needs to be made. This is very important. The medical professionals I've talked to, the medical students that I've spoken to, I get, like, I'm not a liked person online when it comes to controversy, but when I address this Eugenia Cooney issue, I have an overwhelming amount of people coming to me saying, thank you for making these videos. It's really important that you're saying this. And a lot of people will say, hey, I hate Onision, but this is incredibly important.
Right, so, and I feel like a lot of those tweets and stuff that you get are somewhat solicited because you retweet them and it's encouraging people to tweet things of the sort. But one thing I do want to ask is
let's hypothetically say that 3 out of every 5 of those alleged studies or whatever are fake. Okay, so we still have 2 out of every 5.
You're totally you're making up numbers completely right now.
Well, you're saying that. Are you saying that 100% of those are fake?
I'm willing to guess that a large percentage of them are at least exaggerated because they want your validation in some degree. But I want to bring something up really quick.
What you're doing is you're saying that these girls who are coming forward saying.
See, and I knew you were going to do this. You're going to spin it.
Well, let me finish. Let me finish my point. You're a smart girl, you probably do, but let me finish my point. You're saying that these girls who are coming forward, publicly saying that, my sister was affected by this, my friend was affected by this, etc., that, I don't see any way you could look at this differently. You're saying that they're lying, and you're saying that Eugenia Cooney is honest. And she's the good one, and these girls that are coming forward.
Yeah, I know. I know what you're trying to say. It's like the same thing as whenever a popular person is accused of some kind of sexual assault and all these new people pop up, to even question these people. Like, anybody can cry rape, and if you question it, then you're a horrible person just for asking the question. And it's going in that direction.
This is kind of like the Bill Cosby thing, though. It's not like 1 to 13 to 14 or 20 people. We're talking about hundreds of people who are saying that they've been triggered. So you're saying they're all yes.
No, not all of them, but I feel like at least on your Twitter, videos that you post.
Okay,
I haven't done that. I need to do the extra research and stuff looking into that. But at the same time, on the same token, you've come under a lot of criticism. You've come under a lot of criticism for doing saying things online that have made people feel bad about themselves. Do you think that there's even a slight chance that if I tweeted, saying, hey, reply to this tweet and let me know if Onision has ever done anything to make you feel bad about your body?
I didn't say her name when I tweeted. I actually just said, if anyone has caused you to have an eating disorder, let me know. And
come on. You've made so many videos about her. There's no question as to who you're talking about.
Actually, if there were other people that triggered people to have an eating disorder, then they would have mentioned them. But Eugenia was the only person mentioned.
Okay, somehow. I can't imagine how that happened. But I kind of feel like if I were to tweet something like that, I would get a ton of
sorry, that's not truthful. They did mention other people. I believe it was mostly jokes, though. They were referencing.
Anyways, like I said, I feel like if I did that and I asked people to talk about issues that you've caused them, I would get a number of responses as well. But I wouldn't do that because
I'd like to see those. I don't
think it would be fair. You can go online and search people that you've affected. I know that Joy mentioned at one point someone who, was suicidal because of something. And those types of things I tend to just not listen to because I feel like it is being publicized more to attack a person than to promote any specific cause. But I saw on your Twitter, I really want to say something really quick though. I saw on your Twitter the other day, you defending yourself over something like this. You said, you can be upset at people who shame your body, your mind, or life. But if you are confident, they will have no power over your happiness. Does this not apply to other people that watch her as well? Or is it just in your own defense?
We're talking about triggering. It's different.
Exactly. If you're triggered by somebody, what's the difference? If the people watch you and they feel bad about themselves, or they watch her and they feel bad about themselves, the point that you made
Why
in
would
this
someone
tweet,
watch me and feel bad about themselves?
because you call them Shrek.
Huh?
Because you call them Shrek, because you point at someone and say you're fat, or you're thin, or you look a certain way, or you're ugly, or you have acne.
Hold on.
I've seen all of this.
Hold on. I have acne.
I'm just repeating what you've said about people in your videos.
What you're doing is you're blurring a lot of stuff together. I didn't call my audience Shrek. I said Trisha Paytas reminded me of post-transition Fiona as a joke, which I thought was hilarious, and a lot of other people thought was hilarious.
So it's hilarious when you do
it's
it.
like, it's hilarious when you talk about a public figure that way, yes. If I pulled up a picture of a random fan and I said, you know, like, you need to like lose weight, you're 4,000 pounds, you know, maybe it would actually be good for them if they were actually, you know, really heavy. But I mean, this is the thing. Whenever I make videos, for every person that you would have say, you know, oh, this person has made me, you know, starve myself or whatever. Like, for every person that would say that, you have an enormous amount of people who say that I have helped them accept their body for the way it is. Because, like, I have this thing where, like, if you're 5'5", and you're anywhere from, like, 115 to 200 pounds, there's a good chance that your body looks really great. And that's a fact. That's how, like, my ex-girlfriend, she was 5'0", 180 pounds, and I never had a problem with her weight. I did say at one point that the doctor would consider her medically obese, but I didn't, and she got really upset about that, but that was just fact. Like, she literally was medically obese, but not by my standards.
Right, okay. My point is, though, that the second part of your tweet, if you're confident, they will have no power over your happiness. You said that in defense of yourself, and if you truly believe it, then it applies to her as well.
Not necessarily.
And it seems hypocritical.
Not necessarily, because we're talking about me where
if you're confident, you will have no power.
Sure, but that doesn't change the fact that people will get triggered by certain individuals. Like, I'm doing body positive stuff, and the only person who's going to be triggered by me is somebody who's, like, actually, like, legitimately, like, potentially giving themselves diabetes, etc. Not people who are already skinny, and then they see a picture of Eugenia dancing around looking like she's about to die, and they go, oh man, I want to be this person about to die. Do you see that?
So you don't think
this is apples and oranges, because you're comparing somebody who's actually triggering people to get in shape versus somebody who's triggering people to kill themselves.
You're missing. You're misunderstanding what I'm trying to say. I feel like you're missing.
You're talking about a single tweet where I made a point that was true, but didn't, you know, exonerate.
I just saw it. I saw that tweet, and all I could think in my head was how hypocritical it was. Because if you're saying if you're confident, then no one will have power over you. But then you go on and on and on about her triggering. People don't have to watch her. No one is forced to watch her.
But do you expect a 10-year-old girl to have the confidence to overcome Eugenia? I don't. I expect a 10-year-old girl to see her and be heavily influenced if she's a person who's self-conscious. And that's not something that you expect. Right. 10-year-olds aren't supposed to be strong. 11-year-olds, 12-year-olds are not supposed to be strong.
Again, I talked about a lot of this. I talked about a lot. Well, I hope that 10-year-olds aren't watching your videos, because that would be not a good influence. But seriously, some of the stuff that come on my channel too. To be totally fair and honest, like, I wouldn't want a 10-year-old watching my channel either. Of course.
Just by our video titles are just that
right.
alone.
Like, it's not really the greatest place for kids.
Well, YouTube is 13+ only anyway.
Right. So I talked about a lot of these things in my videos. I just, I don't like to speculate about anything going on there. I just felt that it was bullying, especially, like, man, I know that you say that the Onision channel, your main channel, is comedy, and therefore you can say and do anything that you want, and if it's offensive, it's just comedy. You can't take a joke. But, like, man, that cooking show video, that was cruel. It was cruel. Like,
I have two sides of myself that are at war. Okay, I have the side of me that wants to be,
that's called being hypocritical. That's, like, the definition. You have to be consistent. There's no consistency. You're all over the place.
But at the same time, you could say that I respect myself as a human being, and that I have this honor code or whatever about a lot of issues. But then I go and make a total asshole of myself on my channel on a regular basis. I'm not off limits. Like, I've regularly humiliated myself on my channel.
If you were humiliating yourself, that's one thing. But you are targeting another person.
The point is, hold on. Here's my morals and most of my morals, not all of them, but my morals are here, okay, and my need for comedy is here, okay. So I can say, this is like, terrible, blah blah blah, but I'm a comedian first. So
you think this is like mitigating, like anything?
It's not mitigating. I'm just telling you the truth. Like, if this makes me look worse, that's fine.
I realize. I already know that. Obviously, that's true, because if you had stronger morals, you wouldn't do things like that. So clearly, your desire for comedy is higher. I already know this. I'm just pointing out the hypocrisy.
Everybody, first of all, this doesn't make it okay, but you should understand that you are a hypocrite, and everyone on planet Earth is a hypocrite, okay? It's
People can be hypocritical at times, but it's important to try to form some kind of consistency.
We're constantly hypocritical. Human beings are constantly hypocritical. Every single one of us. For instance, do you care about planet Earth?
Okay, Greg, you're kind of trying to dodge the point here a little bit by saying everyone's hypocritical. If you cared about Earth, you wouldn't drive a car. I get it. Stop. You're deflecting hardcore right now.
I understand where you're coming from. I don't like straw man stuff, so let's go back. I am saying that I am wrong about having this two-system approach to the Eugenia topic.
Right.
There's a part of me that has a hard time resisting talking about how serious this is, blah, blah, blah. And there's another part of me I just refuse to censor myself comedically. Refuse to. So you have this side that basically what you're doing is you're looking at a joke that doesn't violate any policies or anything like that, and you're saying this shouldn't be allowed because you're this person who says these things about caring, etc. Mm-hmm. Thing is, I want to be both a comedian and I want to be a person who cares, but I can't be a good comedian if I'm holding back. And so that's the dilemma. And it makes me, in so many ways, I would think that would be probably a hypocrite. And that's fine. That is worth the backlash if I could still tell that fucking joke. I want to tell that joke. So I told the joke. Okay, and it was awesome. It was funny. Just like the Trisha Paytas Fiona thing, okay? I wanted to tell that joke because it was funny. So I told it. Yes, so I could go social justice warrior, and I could be like, you used to hurt feelings with that. It's a joke. I joked. And it was maybe a hurtful joke, but I kind of like hurtful jokes. Even if they're at my expense, they're funny. Like, okay, for instance, Billy the Fridge made this whole thing about the menage a trois that I had a while back, and he said that he was Billy the Fridge, like Billy the Fridge was Billy or whatever. Like that's what he called himself, and he was just making a big joke about it. I like that. That's funny. Because it's just a joke. It's nobody's serious.
It's just a joke.
But what you're trying to say, and it's fine that you're saying this. You say Jesus Christ. All right, I'll shut up. You go ahead.
I'm just trying to say that it may be difficult for people to take your advocacy for things seriously whenever you do a total 180. It would be like Nicole Arbour having Nicole Arbour preach about not body shaming on one channel and then making dear fat people on the other and being like, "Oh, it's comedy," and people, expecting people to be okay with that.
Was dear fat people a joke?
She tried to say that it was all in the name of comedy. Yes. That's how she tried to play it. She's like, I'm a comedian, and that's kind of how she spun that.
You know what would be really funny is that Nicole Arbour made a response video to that video talking about how horrible the person who made the video was, pretending that wasn't her. I would love that.
That would be funny, but I'm saying that's kind of what you remind me of right now. If Nicole Arbour were to have a channel where she just advocated 100% for body positivity and then on her other channel made dear fat people, like that is you. And then you expect people to take your opinion seriously.
If people, aren't both valid?
What do you mean?
Isn't it valid?
They're totally, they totally contradict. They're complete opposites.
But they're both valid.
But it doesn't.
For instance,
how can you believe a person really cares if on one channel they're being really mean in the name of comedy, but really mean about a topic, and then acting on the other channel like it's the most important thing in the world to them?
Let me put it to you this way. Let's say I want clean energy. I think clean energy is an amazing thing. But I work for the fossil fuel industry. Okay? Are you saying that I'm no longer allowed to work in clean energy because I'm a hypocrite because I work in the fossil fuel industry?
I mean, it depends. If you work for something that's damaging to the environment, and then you're like a huge environmental activist, like two different jobs, it's not really the same. You can't really make the comparison because you're like an outspoken activist, right? It would be like me being a total animal rights activist and then working at a slaughterhouse. That's a good comparison. Yes, that does clash.
So comedy is a slaughterhouse.
I'm making the yeah, dude. You know.
Okay, I think the fossil fuel
brain cells. There we go.
I think the fossil fuel industry was a better example because the comedy was at someone's expense, just like the getting fuel is at someone's expense. It's at the Earth's expense, but it still achieves, a quality video. So
okay, my point is that it's very hard for anyone to take that kind of thing seriously whenever you're being
that's fine.
Kind of horrible.
Some people can't accept that I'm a person with a sense of humor, a dark sense of humor. And
I love having a dark sense of humor. I just think it should be kind of consistent.
No, because comedy and morals are not like, okay, for instance, not Dane Cook, but Daniel Tosh could be against people getting raped. But then he made that joke. Wouldn't it be funny if that girl got raped? Like, that was him telling a joke. That was horrible. But that doesn't mean he wants to go rape people.
We're talking about a specific person, right?
I'm talking
about Eugenia, a specific person who you have made countless videos being horrible to and causing her obvious distress.
Like 9
only
videos.
only 9. Okay, only 9 videos. Only 9.
I haven't counted.
Jesus Christ. Only 9 videos. Okay. So
I haven't counted. I'm just saying it's like probably about 9.
And then you go on and on about how much you care about her, and I call bullshit on that.
Say how much I care about her?
You say that you care about her, and then you make fun of her and pretend to puke in a toilet. And I find those two things too different, not funny, and very hypocritical.
So I don't care about my mom when I made a whole video humiliating my mom?
I'm talking about...
Like, it's the same thing. Like, I made videos about a lot of people. If
you made fun of your mom on one channel and then made another video on another channel saying how horrible it is to make fun of your parents, then yes, I would say that's hypocritical. But you can't just make broad, generalized statements. This is a very specific thing that you're being.
You're being general because right now you're saying that you're using a poor analogy because you're saying that I said that it's horrible to make fun of people. I didn't say that it's horrible to make fun of people. I said it's wrong.
If you were to make fun of your mom on one channel and say it's bad to do so on the other, that would be hypocritical.
I didn't say it was wrong to make fun of Eugenia.
Right, that was an example that I used.
Did I say it was wrong to make fun of Eugenia?
No, it was an example that I used. I'm saying if you made fun of your mom on one channel and said on the other that it was wrong to do so, then I would call bullshit. But you can't do something that's clearly hurting someone on one page and say that you care about them on the other. That's all I want to say about this. This is kind of going in circles now, and I think people
would like
are bored.
to move on because I'm about to make a very key point.
Oh, that's definitely not what the reason is, but go ahead.
Okay. All right, so you keep saying that I would say it's wrong to make fun of your mother, and then I make fun of my mother in a video. I don't recall ever saying, hey guys, don't ever make a video making fun of an eating disorder or Eugenia, because I'd be so offended and then go do that. You're acting like it's direct hypocrisy.
I never said that. It is direct hypocrisy to do something that hurts someone and then say that you care about them. You're not making fun of thin people. It was a very specific person. It was targeted. So it causes distress. It's hurtful to her. So don't pretend like you care about someone and then hurt them.
So if you're someone's brother and you laugh at them when they trip and they fall down, that means you don't love them. That's what you're saying. You're saying if you make fun of someone, you can't care about them. That's literally what you just said. Your point is totally valid.
It's more than making fun. It's more than making fun. There have been potentially 9 videos, and it has been something that she's been asking you to stop doing. Like, she's not attacking you. She's not responding with hate.
Where'd she ask me to stop doing that?
She's been asking you to leave her. Watch her YouNows and any YouNow that she just don't. She doesn't want this. She doesn't want this.
Eugenia Cooney, if you see this ever or hear about this ever, just write me an email and say, please stop, and I'll never make a video about you again.
You promise? I haven't. You promise?
Yeah.
If Eugenia says, Onision, I don't want you to talk about me anymore, you would for real though this time not do it anymore.
Yeah, I'll promise.
And not just saying it, you would actually stop, because you said it a few times and then.
Well, I said that there was a video that was my final video, and that was because I wasn't seeing any progress, and then I went back and checked on Eugenia down the line, and I saw that she was getting even worse. So I was like, okay, fine, do this again.
Okay, you know what? I feel like we just reached a good point here. So if she says that, which I'm sure she will, then you're done. That's great. That's like all I wanted to hear, that you're going to stop.
I know.
Yeah, perfect.
But let's say one more thing. I've had people who made 50 or so videos about me, and it wasn't like I have this eating disorder that's killing me and inspiring other people to kill themselves. It was just like they wanted me to stop existing, essentially. And yeah, I asked them.
I don't know if you've seen. I even tweeted about this. People who want to ban you. I will never support that, because I don't support censorship. But,
just like I didn't support banning Eugenia Cooney when people wanted to ban her. People say I did, but I actually said in the video I didn't.
Yeah, I don't like that.
I asked this person to stop making videos about me, because it was like they were literally like 40 in the 40s of videos about how many they made about me.
Yeah, that's kind of insane. But
yeah, and I was like, you need to stop. You need to move on. This is bizarre. And they refused to say that they would stop. But if Eugenia really wants me to stop making videos about her, I had none planned in the future. But normally I go off my forum, and people go to the forum and they suggest.
Well, you talk about it, and then you stop, and then you go back to it, and it's kind of like a cycle.
It's based on the audience demand. I have a forum where people suggest video ideas. So if you see me talking about something,
it's very obvious that her
7 out of 10 times when I talk about Eugenia, about anyone, it's because someone suggested it. So.
Well, I mean, yeah, but you probably get, thousands of suggestions a day on topics, and since it's something that you've discussed common, there have been like common discussions on this, of course you're going to get probably several requests a day to talk about it, but at the end of the day, it boils down to what you would like to talk about. And I think that, obviously a lot of the videos on her get a lot of views, and that's a giant incentive, but I think that, hey, if you're gonna stop at her request, then that's all that I would need to hear, and that would make me happy. So
that and the views aren't really there for the Eugenia topic anymore anyway. So
whatever it is that causes you to like.
I feel like the views wouldn't be there anymore, because this isn't an interesting topic to a lot of people anymore anyway.
Whatever the reason that leads you to that conclusion doesn't matter, as long as it is amicable.
Yeah, all anyone has to do if they have a problem, like with the content I make, and they're a part of it, is just to ask. That's it.
Well, then, very great. This is good progress. What is there anything else that you wanted to debate? Like, I don't know. Like, that was kind of the only thing that I figured. Is there something glaring? That was one of the biggest things that I was very, because I feel bad for that whole situation, and I don't want to get into it, but it was making me pretty sad. So I got defensive.
It was making you sad that hundreds of girls were saying it was triggering.
The feelings that
you were sad that the person triggering them.
You can frame this and word it however you want, and try to make me sound bad, but I could see someone was hurting.
You're protecting one person, and
Did we not just come to a conclusion?
No, I'm just talking about your position and mine. You're protecting this one person, and you're enabling her because you're not doing anything to help her other than say.
How do you know? How do you know?
Because I've already tried.
That shit online.
I've already tried that. I've already tried that. Okay. My first video to Eugenia was me saying, "Hey guys, we should actually consider that she's fine and that she knows what she's doing." And then she got skinnier after I made that video, and I was like, "How could you possibly get skinnier than that?"
But didn't you say in a video that you weren't helping her?
I saw that there was no.
What you were doing was helping her, but you continued to do it.
Should I ignore her? Should I just let her die in silence?
If you want to contact her, then there are private ways of doing so without making her straight online.
I did contact her, and she said that she was fine, and she refused to even really address the issue, just like anorexic people do.
This is very, very repetitive at this point. So I thought we came.
No, that was new. That was new information. What you got was an answer that you didn't like, because you were going to say, "Did you try contacting her?" And you expect me to say, "No, I didn't try contact her," even though I did. And you're like, "Oh crap! Well, this is just."
It doesn't matter. No, that's fine. You can do whatever you want.
You got an answer you didn't like, and so you're trying to drop the topic because you're not winning.
You tried to contact her. It's not about winning. You tried to contact her, and that's fine. I'm glad that you did that.
You're trying
to at no point is it okay to make it public. I feel like this is like just going in circles.
That's a totally different topic.
It's funny. I just feel like we're
all over the place.
No, I'm not. I've said the same thing the entire time. It should not be on the internet.
Stay on the issue. The issue is actually helping her, and I've contacted her privately. I've done a public support video for her initially, and then she got skinnier.
Cooking show.
And a what?
Nothing. Go ahead.
Oh, the cooking show. That was different. That's a different video. I'm talking about the video where I actually was very supportive. It was very well received. In fact, every single video I've seen on Eugenia, aside from the comedy video, was very overwhelmingly positively received. And when you have tens of thousands of people standing behind you going, yes, this is right. Yes, it is fair.
No matter what you say,
and then you're sitting here saying we should just let this happen. And do nothing.
I never said that. I said it should be handled privately.
What are you doing? Have you contacted her privately, tried to help her?
I have been in private contact with her, and I'm not going to talk about the contents of our conversation because, like I said, this is a private thing. And it's a private thing. How is that?
Wow, Jaclyn. You can't just say that you've tried to help Eugenia.
I'm not going to say any conversations. That's the thing, privacy. That's like a thing you don't understand.
Because you haven't tried to help her. Because if you tried to help Eugenia, you would say it.
Okay. Greg, this is ridiculous.
It's not revealing private.
No, it is actually. It is.
You're wrong.
It is.
Because you're wrong.
Sometimes people like to have private conversations.
You're an enabler, Jaclyn. You're trying to let her suffer.
This is very manipulative. Because I don't want to divulge private information, you're saying that I'm not doing anything. And
all you have to do is say, yes, I tried to help her.
You can speculate all day that you want, as much time as you want, but at the end of the day, all it is speculation and manipulative to try to corner me into saying something that I'm clearly not going to say publicly. So let's move on. We've come to a conclusion. You've agreed to stop talking about her if she so requests, which I'm guessing that she will. So if there's something else that you would like to discuss, then I'm willing to do it.
You're going to take steps to make sure that she dies eventually without anyone addressing her issues. Without anyone writing her and saying, hey, this needs to stop. All her friends are going to stand around, watch her die, and act like everything's okay. The best friend of an anorexic person is the lack of confrontation, so they can continue to starve themselves. You know what saves? You know what saves? I've spoken to a ton of anorexic people who have written me regularly, and they all say, or most every person who actually recovered says that somebody had to take matters into their own hands and get that person to a rehab center. That friends like you who don't do anything, who don't address the issue, you're just enablers, and you're helping her die.
Right, Greg, you can speculate all that you want. I'm saying that you're not helping. You've admitted before that you're not helping. You know that your videos aren't helping. And I don't believe that you truly care about her.
I said that I didn't see any progress from my videos.
No, that's not what you said. I have it in my video that I made about you, and I know that you said that you haven't watched it, but if you so choose to, or anybody watching so chooses to, I cut out a clip of you in a video saying that you were fully aware, self-aware, that the videos that you were making about her were not going to help. And you do them anyways, and then you try to say that you're doing them in the name of helping her, and then you badger people like me who try to handle things in private and act like you're the white knight fighting armor doing something when you know that you're not. You're lying.
Actually, that's false, and I'm not lying. Where's the lie?
Watch my video. I have a clip of you saying that you're fully aware. Because you said in a video that you're fully aware that what you're doing and what you're saying is not going to help her. You know that it's not going to help her, and then at the end of these videos, you try to say that you're helping her, and then you come after people like me saying, what are you doing to help her? Well, you're certainly not in any place to criticize.
Pause. There are numerous people who have come to me saying that the videos where, actually a good portion of the people who come to me, they said the videos that I made about Eugenia woke them up and made them stop trying to idolize.
I've said this so many times. People are going to tweet you compliments. Some of them I'm sure are genuine. Or email you. I don't care what the medium is. They're going to contact you.
You don't care that these people are being helped. You don't care that these people are being helped.
I'm just saying, people will
you don't care that these people are being helped. You don't care that these people are being helped.
I love that people are being helped.
You literally grin at the idea of me being shut down on this issue. you're like so excited over this continuation of talking about Eugenia Cooney's
because it's gone in circles so many times. We like ended the conversation, we're ready to move on, and then we got back into it, which is very frustrating. So I thought that we came to some kind of... Okay, great. Yes. All I'm saying is that I feel like...
New information is not circles.
So the conclusion is that if she asks you to stop, then you will stop. And I feel like that's
I think it's anyone's obligation to stop talking about someone if they ask you to stop talking about them.
Okay. Well, I'm glad that we've established that for future reference.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm happy to talk about anorexia in general because those videos have helped a ton of people. The Eugenia
I don't doubt that they have helped people, but I feel like you can make those types of videos in a way that is not targeting someone specifically.
Here's the thing. When when you just say like in a title that these types of people suck, a lot of people don't really care. But when you say this person that's triggering individuals kind of sucks because they're doing this and they're not even willing to address the issue, etc., people care a lot more because it's about a specific individual. People love the drama, and the drama helps more people get help. Like this, you understand YouTube. This is why you make Onision videos and not, oh, I don't like YouTubers who do things and describe it like me, because that's not going to get us as much attention.
I do that all the time. I do very generalized statements. With you, I use your name specifically because you're specifically mentioning me, and it's a response. So of course I'm going to use your name. But if you before we had issues, right? You would say things on the internet that I disagreed with. There were a few things, but I never felt the need to target you or make a huge deal about it until we started having beef and it was personal. But there have been people in the past that have done things that I have thought have been extremely morally objectionable, and I have made videos saying blank actions make these negative things happen as a result, as a consequence. There are so many times I could have targeted a specific person, yourself included, and I haven't, because I don't feel like it is beneficial. And I've said this so many times before. If you want to make a point and you want to attack a person, you have to decide whether or not you want to attack a person or talk about a topic that's important to you, because those are two totally different roads. It is.
No, they're not.
It is.
If you want to make,
I
made points about anorexia. I made many points about anorexia. Helps a lot of people who have suffered from anorexia. If you just ask people to tweet you their stories, or
right, if you ask people, that's exactly what I'm saying. If you ask people, if you solicit responses, people are going to be more, more than happy to do so. And but the motivation shouldn't be validation for you.
People, hey, let me know if you graduated with a 4.0 GPA. I'm not going to get a bunch of people saying that they graduated with 4.0 GPA who didn't. What I'm saying is when you ask for something specific, you tend to get majoritarily honest responses on Twitter and in general.
According to what? You're making stuff up. According to what research?
There's no motive.
Yes, there is. They want your validation. You're somebody that they look up to. They follow your internet stuff. They think that you're a celebrity of sorts. They would love for your acknowledgement to happen.
If they look up to me, they know I despise liars. So that wouldn't be them seeking validation. It'd be seeking condemnation.
It is so clearly people seeking validation to some degree. I don't want to discount everyone, but you have to admit that that's got to factor in.
Well, you're also
not totally ignore that. To totally ignore that, you've got to be kidding me.
Ignore what?
You can't. The fact that a lot of these people who reply to you are trying to seek your validation, and you have to understand that it's solicited to some degree.
You literally sound like somebody who could easily wind up in the same nest as a rape apologist.
I didn't understand that last thing you said. Could you repeat it?
You sound like someone who could wind up in the same nest as a rape apologist.
Right, and that's why I made that comparison before. Because if you even question somebody's intentions, question them.
You're on the wrong side.
I'm not on a side. I'm on the side of truth, right? So it doesn't matter if I'm questioning.
Which is why you validate the majority of people who come forward.
No, it's not a majority. I'm just saying you have to say that you have to admit and acknowledge that is something that will factor in. I'm not taking the side of a perpetrator or a victim.
When you're invalidating people, you're using your mind to invalidate these people with your argument, saying that some of them or all of them are fake. And when you do that, you are helping.
Some of them, I'm sure, are. I'm sorry. Some of them are.
So what you are admitting is that my videos have in fact helped multiple people, or Eugenia's videos have triggered multiple people or both. And the point is that Eugenia is one person, okay? And the videos I've made have no doubt helped multiple people. So
right, and I'm saying that you could easily make the same videos without
what you're saying, but they wouldn't get as wide of a reach. It's a fact.
And that's the only thing that you care about. That's your primary concern.
Helping more people. That's all I care about.
Getting views. That's your primary concern.
Helping more people, though, is what it's doing.
You've admitted before in videos that that's why you do this. That you know the drama gets views, but you didn't say in that anywhere that it was a factoring.
I've spoken multiple times in those videos, saying, first thing, helping people. Second thing, helping Eugenia. Third thing, it gets people's interest. Okay.
Yes, and I took that clip and responded to it.
Okay, from now on, because you're not interested in views and you're so much better than me, I want you to title all your videos 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Just the numbers. And you can be your
title the video why anorexia is bad, or beating anorexia, or how to overcome anorexia, or how to deal with depression. Not like so-and-so person.
You're being absurd because of the fact that you know this effective. For instance, you put Eugenia Cooney in your titles as well. Okay.
One video, and that was defending her. One video ever.
Enabling her and attacking people.
I wasn't talking. I didn't talk about her hardly at all in that video. All I talked about was the absurd way that you were attacking her. I'm not even saying that it's horrible that you mentioned her a couple of times, but I'm saying there are certain things that you have said, certain videos that you have made that are horrible and are borderline bullying another person. I'm not saying that everything you've said is even wrong, but there are certain ways to approach things, and you're clearly over the line. There's a line, and you've crossed it, and that's all I'm saying. There's a way to handle things. There's a way to phrase things without being horrible to another person, and you can do that. That's always an option.
Tell that to the numerous people who have said that I've helped them, their sisters, their daughters, etc.
You can help them, Greg, without hurting someone else.
But you can't even say that would be guaranteed that those same people would be helped if I chose a less effective marketing strategy.
Okay, this has gone in circles enough. I'm ready to move on. All I wanted to hear was that if it was requested that you would stop bullying this person, and I feel like that is something that you agreed to. So I'm happy with that.
I've established that you are on the side that is against people who have been helped, because you would have gone a different route and you would have gotten less views.
No, I'm not. I've made videos on body positivity before. I've made tons of videos on body positivity.
Compare the video views. Compare the video views. How many views did your body positivity videos get versus actually addressing a specific person?
I did it with one of my friends. It was a collaboration, and it was a long time ago. I've done.
Take the views. Take the views of all the Eugenia Cooney videos I've made. Look at the likes, the dislikes on all those videos that are on Onision.
Bandwagon. You're getting views because of her name and her notoriety in this area. You're taking and you're using to your advantage.
More people, because people are pulled into this topic, and they're pulled in and they're forced to face this issue.
Are you frozen?
Of anorexia.
Is it?
Anorexia.
I can't hear you at all. I hear like a robot. Is it just me?
I think it's just you. Look at the comments.
Okay. Hopefully it clears up. But I heard a robot for a bit. But seriously, let's it was glitching for a second. Okay, he froze. Okay. So right. So we obviously I think you're unfrozen for me, so I'm sure it's fine. It seems like the comments are a little bit lagging. But yeah. So
okay. So I've more than established that the videos and topics have reached more people on the issue of anorexia, and they've helped more people on the issue of anorexia. You can compare them to your body positivity videos.
I'm very happy that you've been able to help people, Greg. I just feel like you should do so in a way that's not so horrible to Eugenia. Even if you use her name and her image in your titles and thumbnails.
Eugenia is one person.
Even if you continue to use her name and an image in your videos, you could still word things in a way that wasn't so horrible, and maybe I would have less of an issue with it, honestly.
Tell me
if you hadn't made that cooking video.
Okay, we've established that the cooking video was comedy. I'm sorry that you don't know how to take a joke.
You can't just write it off. No, it's not funny. It's not funny to make fun of someone who may or may not have something that they're dealing with, and pretend like you're throwing up into a toilet.
Like people who try to tell people what is and isn't funny?
It was very. I mean, how can you not compare that to bullying? How can you call it anything other than bullying? Whether or not you think it's funny, a lot of times bullies are horrible to people and they push somebody down and they think it's funny and they laugh and everyone around them laughs. Just because something is funny to you and funny to people around you doesn't mean that it's not still bullying and not still hurtful and that it can't be done in a tasteful way if you truly care about the person.
Can you imagine if I complained about someone making a joke video about me and saying that was bullying me? How pathetic that would be.
It is bullying, Greg, because it's been so many videos, and she's obviously hurting.
This is great, but I'm not defending that channel. I'm not defending that comedy. I think that you can't take a joke, and that's fine. But we're not talking about that. We're talking about the bulk of videos that I've made that have been effective in their marketing and that have helped people.
I'm very happy that you've helped people, Greg, but you've also hurt a lot of people with cruel things that you've said, and I don't want to keep repeating.
That's on a totally different spectrum. Like, you're looking at a totally different issue. I'm talking about these videos specific.
It is very related. If you're going to talk about body positivity and the way that you help people, then you have to acknowledge that you hurt people.
You should work on your straw manning.
Let's work on moving on to a different topic, because this is.
You would love to move on to a different topic because we're not winning this one.
It's not, Greg. This is totally subjective to you. You're going to feel like you've killed it regardless. Like, this reminds me very much of a political debate. This reminds me of a political debate.
I can do basic math. Can you do basic math?
No, Greg, what the hell is 2 plus 2? This is a great line of questioning. So, like, this is going to be the same as any political debate. All the Hillary supporters are going to say that Hillary won the debate. All the Trump supporters are going to say that Trump won the debate. Trump could, make the greatest ass of himself.
Anyone who can do math, okay? Anyone who can do math. First of all, my marketing strategy, much more effective than yours, okay? Got a lot more views. Got a lot more likes to dislikes, which means people genuinely supported this. The mass majority of people are on board with me regarding the Eugenia Cooney issue. You're talking about Eugenia maybe possibly getting her feelings hurt versus hundreds,
the video that I made.
I'm not going to watch. Hundreds versus, or possibly even thousands of people helped.
If you don't care what I think about this, then why are you debating me on it?
I've already discussed this with you.
The video that I made is better because I was able to lay out exact things that you have said that have been either contradictory or just horrible. So this conversation is kind of at this point is kind of like drawn out to the very final end, because I don't disagree with the message of body positivity. I don't disagree with debating the certain topics that we're talking about in general, but I feel like pinpointing a person.
Answer a few questions for me. Will you?
Move on. Everyone in the comment wants us to move on. It's not just me. Like, everyone's annoyed at this point. You talk about hating my long videos because I go on and on and on. I'm trying to make this shorter, so let's.
Can I ask you some questions?
I'm waiting.
Did those videos reach millions of people?
Yeah, you got a lot of views and a lot of money. Congratulations.
Yes or no? Yes or no? Did they reach millions of people?
I know what you're going to say, Greg. You're going to say that you used her to make lots of more people aware of the issue, but I don't feel like that matters at this point, because you could have done the same thing nicer. You could have even used her name.
You can't even answer these questions yes or no because you're afraid of the answers.
No, Greg, because you're trying to manipulate me into saying something.
I'm right. You know I'm right.
I don't know that you're right, Greg. I disagree with you.
Answer the questions. You can't answer yes or no questions.
This is because I know what you're doing. I know what you're doing. You're going to say,
you can't answer yes or no questions.
Let me finish. You're going to say, I've done this. This tactic has gotten a lot of views. Therefore, this tactic has reached more people. Therefore, I am great because I'm successful in reaching a lot of people. I am trying to make the argument. That's exactly what you're going to do.
Will you at least answer these questions for me? Just yes or no.
This is so manipulative. You have to understand that I know what you're about to do.
Someone to answer questions manipulative. And by the way,
because you're asking leading questions to make a specific point without giving it any nuance. This is not black and white. There is a gray area, and that's what I'm going for. You're trying to make it seem like this is totally black and white.
You're defending one person for the sake of hundreds, if not thousands of people not receiving this message, not healing. One person.
Okay, so you make YouTube. You make YouTube videos for a living. You understand how this works, right?
Why are you
content? Because I'm making a point. I'm making a point. It's going to come back to the original topic. Okay.
Okay.
You understand that it's all about metadata, right? It's all about the titles that you use, the thumbnails that you use, the tags that you use, right? The actual content of the video. No. What gets recommended to viewers, what goes up. And let me finish, Greg. I'm like halfway through what I want to say, and it's going to make sense.
But you're not an extremely successful YouTuber, so why would I listen to your tips on metadata?
Because, Greg, what you're doing,
knew what you were talking about.
Your videos, if you had the same title and the same thumbnail and the same tags, and you talked about the same topics, you could absolutely 100% make the points that you want to make, even use the same clickbait that you use. That's fine, and not do it in such a harsh, demeaning way to another person.
This is where you mathematically fail once again. You're trying to educate someone with more than 2 billion views on YouTube how the system works. And you're wrong.
You're the one who asked you. Why would you listen to me? Like, why would you listen? Because you're the one who's asking to talk to me about all of this.
What I'm saying is you're trying to educate me on how YouTube works, and that's absurd.
I'm trying to say that you could do the same thing that you're doing and not be rude.
Once again, you're talking to someone who has more than 2 billion collective views on YouTube. I would know.
Greg, you can't just say that. You can't just say, oh, look at this, therefore everything that I say is right. Otherwise, you wouldn't be here.
You understand that the algorithm has been updated based on retention, right?
Of course. That's why longer form videos do well, which, by the way, you make fun of me for, so cool.
Yeah, your last video, your video on me was like 15 minutes long, got 60.
Yeah, but most of my videos are around between 10 to 15 minutes, sometimes longer if I do a debate.
62,000 views isn't good, Jaclyn.
You know, okay, you can make fun of my, like, success or lack thereof, whatever you want. Like, I'm happy. Like, I'm doing what I do. And, like, it's fine. You obviously have a bigger channel. You've been around for a lot longer than me as well, and you post a lot more content. Like, good for you, but you can't use numbers and be like, because of this, therefore I'm right on topics that I'm clearly here debating you on.
You're talking to someone who's been doing YouTube longer, who has far more views collectively than you have.
Because you attack people. You attack. You know what? This isn't even just Eugenia. Like, you're kind of horrible to a lot of people.
This is straw
man. No, it's not.
Yes, it is, because you attack people as well, and you don't get the views.
No, I don't attack people. My channel is not an attack channel. I've attacked you, and then I go after people who say, like, ridiculous religious things. But it isn't like, oh, let me see how many YouTubers I can attack. Let me see how many YouTubers' names I can put in the titles of my videos to get views. That is like all of your...
If you look at my most viewed videos, that's not the case.
I've seen so many of my friends hurt by you. It's not even just her. So maybe this was a final straw for me. You go after so many people that are, you know, friends, colleagues that I care about, that I'm in a relationship. Like, it doesn't even matter. Like, you have no bounds. Like, you know, I've seen some other videos that I don't even want to, like, bring up these people because I don't know that they would appreciate me doing that. But, like, you've gone way overboard for a lot of people that I'm friends with and are hurtful to them. And it just feels malicious at some point. At some point, the greater good is lost in your videos. And as much as I would love to get on board and believe that you do it 100% because you care, I do believe that's a part of it. But at some point, that gets lost. At some point, that gets lost. You know, and it just feels malicious, and it feels like a ploy to get more views, to bring yourself more attention. And I get that's how the game goes, and I can respect that.
Did you watch my last Eugenia video in full?
Yes.
You did.
I've watched all of your videos. I don't believe what you say when you say that you're concerned about a person because of things that you have done in the past. It just makes me not trust you.
Do you think that I could flip a switch for Eugenia to get better, and that I'd flip that switch?
I do.
Do you think that if I was told, hey, do you think that if I was told, if you get on a plane right now and go fly to see Eugenia, she'll dedicate herself to getting better if you just talk to her? If I would get on that plane?
Yes, I think you would. I'm not saying that you want her to be.
So you've just established that I care enough to drop everything to go talk to Eugenia directly and try to get her better, even if cameras are off or whatever. That's
of course you would. That's like horrible to ask. Like, of course you would do that.
Let me give you.
This is like a very basic thing. Like, would I do this thing to help? But your videos.
I just proved you wrong.
I literally just proved you wrong.
I literally just proved you wrong.
You can say that over and over again, Greg. This is
you admitted it. You admitted it.
I've admitted that you don't want, like, to.
You said that I don't care, and then
if you could flip a switch and help somebody, would you do it? What kind of person would say no to that? I don't think that you would totally, to blow someone
So
off.
I care.
Oh, if I could help you, I just wouldn't. Just even if I had the option, I don't think that about you.
Admitted that I care.
I said, Greg, that there are things and parts of what you say that I do believe are genuine, but at some point it gets lost. And the primary focus for what you do is not that other person's greater good, and to pretend to do so is totally disingenuous. The primary focus of these videos is not because you care about her. The primary focus is getting views and money and attention. I'm not saying that you wouldn't help her if you had the chance, but I'm talking about the point of your videos, and that is not to help her.
The main point is the demand. People ask me to talk about these issues because they help them, because it's important to them. I literally make videos because people care about them.
That is not why you make videos, Greg. I call bullshit.
Yes,
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Agree to disagree.
If
that is not you, that is not. I'm sorry.
You have zero evidence to support that.
Yes, I have tons. If you watch my videos, I compiled all of it in a very concise yet long 15-minute video.
Okay.
Check it out.
So I want to go back.
If you're truly interested.
I'm not.
Then why are we here?
Because
if you're not interested in what I have to say, okay, well, this is what I thought. You're not interested in what I have to say. The only reason why I'm here is so that you can
Jaclyn, I find your videos. I find your videos to be very boring. And
great, I know you said this before. You said this before, and that's fine.
You're asking me to bore myself.
You're asking me to a debate when you don't actually have any interest in hearing my points. Your interest lies in getting attention again. Your interest lies in trying to get me to answer yes or no questions so that you can formulate some kind of debate around it.
I'm on my wife's You now. Do you think I'm concerned about, that's all I care about is attention? That's absurd.
I still believe that that's your primary concern, yes.
Sure, because it's yours and you only see yourself in others.
No, Greg, you can't. That is such a cop-out.
How many times have I accused you of just wanting attention? How many times have you accused me of just wanting attention? You're projecting.
I have accused you of wanting it. No, I'm not projecting, Greg. I don't use their personal struggles in my videos to get views. That is what you do. You take the personal lives of people and exploit them. That is not something that I do.
And I have helped far more people than you have using that strategy.
But you hurt people. You hurt people as well. It wouldn't.
Those people aren't writing me.
Just because you help people, it does not negate the negative effects that you have.
Do you understand math?
Don't make it wrong.
Understand math. If you help 100 people,
you cannot deduce human beings to math equations. You cannot.
You can. It's called statistics. And
you can't base the entire world. But it's not just statistics, right? This mixes with ethics. It's kind of crazy that you're only focusing on certain parts of this argument so that you can spin it to acting like I don't see that. I understand that you help people and that you do enjoy helping people. All I'm saying is that it's not your primary goal.
Oh my God, that's such a weak point.
No, it's not.
It is though, because you said that you said that you understand that I like helping people and that it's my goal to help people, but it's not my only goal. That's one of the weakest points I've heard.
Okay, well that's
like saying Michael Jordan likes playing basketball and he likes entertaining people, but he also makes money. That's absurd. Who cares?
You're not Michael Jordan.
Obviously. I literally thought I was Michael Jordan when I said that. Thank you for understanding.
I mean, it's not a good analogy. It's not a good analogy.
Okay, that's like saying that a yoga instructor likes doing yoga and enjoys teaching people how to do yoga, but they also make money. That's not their only objective.
I'm not talking about people. I'm talking about you. Maybe that's not what other people do, but I'm saying that's what you're doing.
You don't want to use other relevant examples to establish how faulty your logic is.
I would love it. I would love if you actually found examples that were relevant. But the ones that you're using don't apply.
I use two different careers. This is my career.
Neither one of them are good. Neither one of them. Yeah, but careers, that's great, Greg. And your career is not based around helping people, that although may be a great side effect to many of your videos, which is why I initially liked your channel. I liked your channel
watching
because
this. Hold on. To everyone watching this, please email or tweet at Jaclyn Glenn letting her know that I've helped you and explain in depth how I've helped you.
Yes, and I will totally believe that those are genuine and from the heart, and not because Greg just asked you to do that to validate him further. And if you already like him and look up to him, that you would go ahead and follow.
Well, if you can again rape apologist yourself into denying anyone who says anything about being helped.
It is not. You're not a rape apologist. To be on the side of logic and be like, just because someone says that something happened means you have to automatically agree with them, and automatically believe everything that they say.
Literally the same argument against people who accuse people of rape.
Right, and that's why we have laws and trial and a jury.
No,
and
we have people like you. We have people like you who act like if somebody says something, then it has to be the numbers are irrelevant. The quantity of the complaints and how people saying, you know, so-and-so has helped me or so-and-so has hurt me, you're saying that doesn't matter because people can just make stuff up, so we may as well not pay attention.
No, I'm not saying that you should ignore everyone, but I'm saying there is, it is common for people to make stuff up or exaggerate things to get the attention or approval of someone that they look up to or idolize. That is not uncommon, and that is why whenever someone's accused of something, even if it is rape, because that's where you keep going, if someone's accused of rape, I don't side with the person who's being accused or the person who's accusing. I stand back and let the jury handle it and the legal system take care of it, because who am I to speculate? I just know that sometimes, people do commit crimes and sometimes people lie.
Who are you to speculate? This entire time you've been speculating that those people aren't valid and that they've been encouraged by me giving them my opinion.
I'm just saying there should be.
Who are you to speculate, Jaclyn? Who are you to speculate?
I'm not
Who are you to speculate, Jaclyn?
I'm just saying.
Yes, you are. You're implying that those people could be invalid.
I'm saying they could be. I think it is logical to apply some level of skepticism to all of it. And for you to deny that is just, kind of crazy.
What you're denying is that I've helped far more people than I've ever hurt. And that the people that you are currently...
That doesn't make it okay to hurt people. Just because you help more people doesn't make it okay to hurt people.
You know how many Christians your videos have hurt?
I am attacking a belief system now for people. If it hurts people's feelings, if it hurts feelings, that's fine. I'm not attacking people. I'm attacking a belief system.
So
and I feel that Christianity, I feel like...
So, okay, hold on. I hurt one person's feelings, and so you're acting like I'm so awful. Meanwhile, you regularly attack Christianity, and I attack Christianity too. But the point is that you're acting like you're some kind of, what you called me earlier, this white knight, to save people's feelings.
I have never called myself a white knight.
No, you called me a white knight earlier. You're disregarding the beliefs of so many people and hurting them and acting like hurting people is so terrible. But yet you do that yourself.
I feel like it depends on the topic. It kind of depends on what you're talking about. Okay, seriously, if you're talking about something that you think is really harmful, for example, animal rights. Like, you talk about animal rights and you care about animals because you think that they're being mistreated. There are going to be people who are cattle farmers who are going to be offended by what you say. You could say the sky is blue.
That's a bad example. The cattle farmers are slaughtering those animals.
Right, and I agree with you. But, you can say the sky is blue and someone will be offended. You have to draw a line at some point.
That's a terrible example as well. We're talking about religion.
You're attacking a specific person, Greg. A specific person. One person that has been targeted over and over and over in all of your videos. And that's why I had an issue. And she asked you to stop and you haven't.
Well, I never got that.
She asked you to stop and you haven't. Okay, then I don't know how you've missed that, but that's literally every time I watch a broadcast, she's like, I don't know why he keeps talking about me. She just wants to be left alone. And maybe she needs to directly say this to you, which I believe she has tweeted things. She has tweeted things to that effect, but I guess she needs to mention you for you to, leave her alone. And I realize that that's happened before, where people have literally been forced to make videos telling you to leave them alone. Otherwise, legal action will be taken because you don't know when to stop. You push and you push and you push certain people, and it just goes too far. I don't want to fight over whether or not it's good to talk against certain things. I also agree with you that people should not have, if they have a disorder of some kind, that they should get help. That is never something that I have disagreed with you on ever. I just feel like it has gone too far.
You just won't talk about Eugenia.
Again,
you said you think that she should get help, but you'll never bring it up.
I didn't say that. I said I'm not going to talk about it publicly. Publicly talking about something when someone's asked for privacy, I feel it's just rude.
Do me a solid. Do me and everyone, essentially, that is associated with Eugenia solid. Try to get her help since you're her friend. Do it. Show you care.
Are they still on
Because
YouTube?
I'm not
sorry.
I'm not associated with her. But you should literally actually talk to her about her eating disorder and actually try to get her help since you're close.
I mean,
because she is killing herself. You and I both know she's killing herself.
This is assuming that this isn't something that, has already. I don't want to talk. I understand. I hear you, and I agree.
Okay.
But I just my only point in all of this was that I feel that certain things have gone too far, and it is damaging. And I see that. And
if I found out that you or Social Repose or someone in Eugenia's life actually did help her, I would be enormously grateful.
Great. And I am grateful that you're going to stop.
Here's what's awesome about Eugenia's power, is if she starts to eat a normal, healthy diet, then a lot of her audience is going to do that too. And that would be huge.
I would love to not, because I don't want to talk about things that I feel like should be kept personal, and that's where this is headed. And I hear you. I hear what you've said before, and I agree. And I'm on board.
Talking about it has not.
I'm on board. Okay, publicly, I'm on board with what we said before that, and I think that we've come to an agreement. No, that you'll stop. Things will be handled privately as they should be.
No. If she asks me to stop, I'll stop. But
thank you. And she has, but I'll tell her. I'll forward the message that that's something that needs to be directly spoken.
Okay. Do you know if Joyce Sparkles is waiting? Because I actually gotta go soon, so I want to see if Joyce Sparkles is up.
I can see.
Am I getting a call?
No, I don't see her in the chat.
Hello? Okay. Mm-hmm. Oh.
So, I don't...
No, this is about you, Jaclyn. Okay, I got it. Is that everything? Oh, what about privacy? Oh, yeah. Okay. Okay, so my wife is saying that you talked about her vagina publicly and you attacked her and her non-binary
status. What video did I talk about a vagina?
There. You actually
the two genders video.
You literally mentioned my wife's vagina in a video and you made fun of their non-binary status.
Okay, if I offended Lainey... okay, well, let me
hold on.
Okay,
you offended a lot of people, actually.
Right. Let me just start off by this. I don't remember the vagina thing. I'm not saying that that's not true, but I'm sure probably I did at some point mention something along those lines. Maybe it's being...
Why do you feel compelled to invalidate non-binary people?
See, that's the thing. That is not ever what my intention was, and I get why
you did do that. You said that there are only two genders. You invalidated
no, and I'm sorry. I still stand by feeling that way. The thing is that
non-binary means?
By the way, I do. I totally know what that
means. It's talking about social identity. Some people don't identify as a boy or a girl. It's a very real thing, and you invalidating it doesn't make it invalid. But you're it's like you pointlessly crapping. It's you pointlessly crapping at people just to make a point. I don't understand that.
No, that's not. See, then if people felt that way, let me just say this first of all to Lainey and to anybody who
many people do feel that way.
Okay, I'm gonna talk now. To Lainey and to anybody who I made feel that they are wrong in some way to identify as non-binary, I apologize to you because I never.
That's not what you made people feel. You didn't make them feel wrong. You made them feel.
I'm really trying to. I'm trying to say a thing. If you could let me do it, that'd be really great.
If you felt that way, take down the video.
I plan on actually making another video where I talk about it. But the thing is whenever you delete a video, then it's almost like you're trying to erase a mistake that you made to a degree. And if I correct things that I said incorrectly in that video,
disable your ads on it then.
Okay, yeah, fine. I'm sorry to anybody who I offended with that video, but
and also if you could change the title to "I'm sorry for offending non-binary people."
Let me finish.
No, I'm serious. You need to change the video
because
title.
I don't. No, I'm not changing the title. I'll take the ads off. That's fine.
Then you're not sorry.
Listen,
Are you sorry
I'm
for
sorry
upsetting non-binary people?
I still feel that there are two genders, and that's another thing that I would like to talk about. Okay, whenever you say,
you have an ignorant opinion.
Okay, that's your opinion.
How about you type in non-binary and see what shows up?
Greg, I have. Let me.
What you're doing is you're looking at a massive group of people and you're saying that they don't exist, that they aren't.
No, I'm not. No, I'm not. I'm absolutely not saying that.
You say there's only two genders. If there's only two genders, non-binary people cannot exist.
Right, and that's not what I'm saying, though. I get that that's what you think that I'm saying, and that's the interpretation you took.
I'm sorry. Let me correct my point. There's two genders, and then there's non-binary, because non-binary is the absence of gender. I was actually responding to what your intention or your message was in that, which was
that is exactly how I feel. No, I don't think that they don't exist.
So you agree that there is a non-binary is a thing, is what you're saying?
Yes.
And that
but there are still two genders.
People don't have to identify as boy or girl, correct?
Absolutely.
Okay, so why did you make a point to the contrary?
Because I still think there are two genders. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's like saying, for example, whenever you put the word a before a word, it negates that word. So if someone, in medicine, if they have no symptoms, you say that they are asymptomatic. You don't then say that asymptomatic is a symptom. If someone has no heartbeat, you say that they are in asystole. They're asystolic. That is not a heart rhythm. If you say that you have no religion, you are an atheist. Atheism is not in and of itself a religion, but atheists exist. You know?
I don't exactly know what we're talking about, because the only thing I was talking about was you acting like non-binary wasn't a thing, and it is a thing, so there you go.
I don't think that it's not a thing, and that's why I wanted to make another video clarifying. I do still think that there are two genders,
are you saying there's a problem with gender?
No, I'm saying that by definition, that is to say that there is no gender. So to say that not having a gender, or to say that someone who says that they have no gender is a person with a gender makes no sense. In the same sense as saying, hey, I'm an atheist, and therefore that's my religion. Like, I get very offended when people call atheism a religion, because that's exactly the opposite of what I stand for. It's the lack of something. And it frustrates me. And the thing that frustrated me the most in that video, and I was not only trying to make that point, which I did very poorly, admittedly, and I said that in my last video. Another point that I was trying to make in that video, and equally as strong, if not stronger, Can
we pause real quick? If you just type in agender, it shows up as an actual definition identifying a group of people. There's many errors, like what you pointed out in the English language, where, re doesn't always mean, again in a word or whatever. Like, there's numerous pre-words that don't mesh up with the actual normal use.
Okay.
So, and that's fine. That's just the English language. Sometimes there's those errors, but just because you say agender doesn't mean it exclusively, means that there is what you said, what you described. That's you saying, oh, this is how English should be, but sometimes words aren't exactly as they should be based on the rules.
Right, but even in the definition of what it is, it still is very clearly saying that it is not a gender. So to say that it's not is going by what the definition is. So I guess that's where my confusion lies into how people. I'm not trying to say that there aren't people that very legitimately feel that way, and that I won't use. I've said this in videos before. I will do my 100% best to use the correct, pronouns that someone chooses. I feel like it's disrespectful to call someone purposefully different than what they want. So that's not something I would do. I don't think that it's a non-existent identity, but I do feel that there are still two genders. And even bigger in that video, the biggest point that I wanted to make, and this is what I was trying to say before, is how I don't like gender stereotypes and gender roles and things that are expected of people. Like, for example, I know women who hate wearing dresses and hate wearing pink, and I know men that like wearing more feminine things. I even have, come into contact with a man who likes to wear dresses, and my friends, made a point to that, and it was taken out of context. And I was trying to say that if that is you, and you are someone who does identify with their gender, but they choose to take on a different gender role that's different than what society expects, that they are just as much of a woman or just as much of a man as they choose to be. And that is a point that I made, although poorly worded in my video, that you took and said that I was therefore saying people who are transgender are not valid, and that if you're a man in a dress, you're still a man in a dress. And it wasn't addressing the point that it was a gender role that I was speaking of. You said that I was saying that someone who is transgender, male to female, is still a man in a dress, which is absolutely not what I was saying. And that was very frustrating for me. That was very frustrating for me.
I think we both agree that the message was not properly received, and
right.
It wasn't just me. Right, it wasn't just me. It wasn't just my wife.
The issue with my video was the fact that I said there were two genders, and people were upset with that in and of itself. The man in a dress comment that I was making in reference to gender roles was something that no one really talked about until you pointed it out as saying that I was saying men. Can't be men if they were originally born as women and vice versa, which is not a point that I was making. So it was frustrating for me because if you look on my channel, I have made several videos in favor of trans rights and equality, and that is something that I have always stood for, and that's why this is such a hard topic for me because, my understanding of definitions has caused, poor communication and has labeled me, as something that I have fought so hard against. And so I felt slighted by you in that. Are you listening to me or on the phone? I felt slighted because it's something that I worked against. You're on the phone. Anyways, that's my point. So to anyone that I offended in that video, I do need to clear it up. And I'm not trying to say that people can't be non-binary. I'm just saying that there's still two genders. Hello? This is violence. So I guess people are saying in the comments. People are saying in the comments that Joy is blocked. So I don't know. People are saying that she's blocked.
This isn't the other. I mean, she might be. I don't know.
You're frozen.
This is Lainey's account. So if someone's blocked, they probably should be blocked.
Anyways, I'm just reading the
comments. Besides, I don't think that someone who is an ex should be still watching people's live feeds. That's weird. It's like,
relatable. Yeah.
So are you responding, what's relatable?
X is watching live streams.
Oh, okay. I'm glad you laughed at that. I think we can all relate to people not
Stop appreciating that.
Either admit you hate me and go away, or, admit that you don't and, I feel like if you really didn't like someone, you would never want to hear about them ever again. And people they don't seem to match up their words with their actions a lot of times. Just admit who you are. Okay. So
I don't know if that cleared up.
What you're saying in all this is that you, first of all, actually acknowledge definitions, which I have a huge respect for. It's really difficult talking to people who don't respect definitions. But you're also saying that your videos weren't meant to offend people, even though you did offend people and you no doubt did say hurtful things. That your main intention is to establish that you can have feminine attributes and still be a man, and you can have masculine attributes and still be a woman. That's I can't argue with that. That's reasonable.
That was the whole man in a dress comment. That's what the intention for that was.
It just makes me cringe, like hearing that, because it's just a person in a dress.
Why?
It doesn't have to be a man in a dress or a woman in overalls or whatever.
If you're a man and you want to be a man and you feel like a man and you wear a dress, why is it cringy to say that? Like I like that. That's my point.
It's cringy to say that because it's coming from people that appear to be trying to invalidate people. You maybe weren't trying to invalidate people, but the appearance was there, the vibe was there.
No, I get that.
And someone in the member of the trans community coming to me saying, "Hey, this really upset me," and me seeing and going, "Yeah, I see why you would be upset." Like, it's just with that issue, we obviously got to be more careful on the non-comedy side. Shit.
Yeah. So Right. So, like, I guess, like, what is difficult for many people, myself included, is whenever you look at a video and are triggered by something, it is difficult to look beyond what is being said and look at maybe the intention that the person has behind saying it. You know, in my case, if you have no familiarity with the content that I make, I understand how maybe it wasn't something that could be processed immediately, but anyone who is familiar with my channel enough knows that I have for years and years and years fought for equality and would never intentionally try to tell someone that they're wrong for being who they are. Like, that's the opposite of what I ever intended to do.
Let me tell you something. I don't doubt for a second that you have intentions that are decently respectable, if not fully respectable. So you don't have to try to convince me that you're not
because the video that you made about me, like, very much gave off that vibe.
Well, I'm talking to you now, and I've heard your full side of the story. Like, there's no way I could make that same video after talking to you now. You understand that?
Mm-hmm. But that's, like, a thing that really, like, hit hard for me and, like, is still causing, you know, a lot of misunderstandings and problems. And it sucks to be called, you know, transphobic whenever it's something that I've worked so hard against. And, it's kind of a slap in the face to the work that I have done. Like, and I feel like maybe my intention wasn't considered because you disliked me for other personal reasons with who I was choosing to associate with. Like, I don't know that video would have happened before, Richie. I know that you're saying they're unrelated, but I feel like it spinned the way you viewed me as a person, and because of that, my intention was missed.
That video wound up the way it was because I got a complaint about it from my wife, who is a member of the trans community.
I realize that. You've explained that, but I'm saying that your video about me might have been a little bit more venomous, and that's putting it nicely, because of personal reasons, and that, like, what I was saying. I feel like that because, like, I've rewatched that video that I made, and I said this in my last video that I made talking about doing this debate. It did make me cringe a little bit, but even in that, in my poor explanations for things, I could still see that it wasn't intending to be malicious, and it was certainly not saying the whole man in a dress thing that you said, which made it sound exponentially worse.
But
so, like, I feel like
you're you, and you
right, but like my audience too. Before
because when you say it, you felt it, and that feeling's not going to go away likely.
Right, but no one like was as up in arms about this whole situation until your video was made. So, like, my audience understood, you know, and maybe that's because they're familiar with my beliefs. And I guess I thought maybe you would have been too, but I guess not. But part of me also thinks maybe you were, and because of personal issues, it was exaggerated.
I feel like there were a lot of people who were like, I don't know, maybe I shouldn't discuss what I feel. Because that's, you know, speculation. But that video was something that could easily be not appreciated in the wrong way by the wrong people. So... That's
right.
why it's like, I feel like that's why it's better, I think, to start a video, you know, just saying, hey, I recognize that non-binary people are a thing. I recognize agender people, same thing, are a thing. But this is just about people not being restricted to their own gender and not automatically being the opposite gender just because they put on pants. Right? It's based on their identity. And, you know, that could have basically, if it were, like, addressed in that order. And I'm not saying, like, you know, you're like, this is... I don't know. I'm not trying to, like, be an activist right now. I'm just trying to say that I probably would have wanted to construct that in that way.
Right, and like I said, it wasn't the best wording, but, like, I feel as though I was, you know, kind of purposely villainized a little extra because of personal reasons, which was frustrating for me.
Yeah.
And hurtful,
well,
because
if you want me to remove that video, all you got to do is email me.
I mean,
if you feel hurt.
The video is probably been downloaded and re-uploaded, so that might not even really accomplish anything.
It's whatever. It's whatever. Anyway, I need to talk to Joy Sparkles so I can get
Okay.
out of here.
Is she in the...
Yeah, she's somewhere around here under the name of Joy Sparkles. But I thank you so much for willing to
Okay.
talk to me. Is there anything else you wanted to say before going?
Nope. That was pretty much it. I mean, I'm glad that I guess some of it was cleared up. I don't know. The Eugenia thing went in circles for a very long time, but I think the gender thing is pretty cut and dry.
Yeah, that was pretty simple. Okay, I'm gonna find Joy Sparkles in silence, talking to myself now. Hope you have a wonderful day.
All right, bye.
Bye-bye. All right, guys, it's just me now.